More than 23 million people follow Sandeep Maheshwari on YouTube for life advice and motivation. I'm sure you'd expect a man of his level to be large-hearted and have a clear understanding of human nature. Many people do. Therefore, it came as a surprise to millions when Maheshwari was seen forcing a YouTuber with less than 2 lakh subscribers to delete one of his videos. Why did he do that? We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's understand a very basic principle of conflict. It is common knowledge that in a conflict between two people, the public sentiment is always with the weaker person. This phenomenon is the way it is because it is in human nature to stand against any sort of dictatorial behavior. A good example of this would be the outrage after some random IAS officer is seen shouting and hitting people, trying to look like some sort of hero. In international relations too, the public sentiment right now is more with Ukraine, which is a weaker country, compared to Russia, who started this conflict. Compared to bureaucrats, social media influencers are much more aware about this phenomenon. Therefore, you will rarely see big influencers criticize smaller influencers. The smaller influencer in this case is Prakhar Gupta, who like Sandeep Maheshwari dabbles in philosophy, spirituality and motivation on his channel Prakhar Ke Pravachan. And this whole controversy is a good example of what happens when a big influencer try to put unnecessary pressure on a smaller influencer. Around 2 months ago, Prakhar made a reaction video about Sandeep Maheshwari comparing Indian and Western philosophy for a student who was confused whether he should make a career in philosophy or chess. I know how absurd I sound, so let me simplify it for you and start from the beginning. On 26th of April, a video was uploaded on YouTube called The Power of Indian Culture by Sandeep Maheshwari. On the 18th minute mark of the video, Sandeep tries to convince his student about the superiority of India's polytheist religious philosophy over the West's monotheist religious philosophy. Look at this video.
बट अब ये देखो कि रियल प्रॉब्लम कौन है. एक लॉजिक है कि ये मेरा भगवान है और यही सच है और यही सबसे ऊपर है, एक ही भगवान है और कोई दूसरा भगवान ही नहीं है, और जो इसको नहीं मानता है वो सब हमसे अलग है और जो इसको मानता है वो सब हमारे अपने हैं, बाकी सब पराए हैं. ये एक थॉट प्रोसेस है. एक और थॉट प्रोसेस है जो कहते हैं कि सब में भगवान है और भगवान में ही सब कुछ है.
2 days after the video was uploaded, Shwetab Gangwar, Prakhar's friend and also a motivational speaker, reacts to the video and interprets the specific part as a comparison between Hindus and Muslims.
तो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है कि इस दुनिया में एक ही भगवान है, जो उसको मानता है वो हमारा अपना है और जो उसको नहीं मानता है वो सब पराये हैं. वो
भाई काफिर बोलने वाले थे या समथिंग लाइक दैट. भाई एकदम 1 सेकंड में रुक के भाई का ले करेक्ट कर ले यहाँ पे अभी तेरा. लोग इसको कहीं से कहीं और ही ले जाएंगे. पर आए इब्राहिमिक रिलीजन की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. आई एम अज्यूमिंग ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट इस्लाम.
Now you know the kind of news that we are bombarded with all day.
चाहो उठा के हमको काट डालो और फिर अभी को कट्टर कहो.
एक समाज अपने ईस्ट का मंदिर बनाना चाहता है, 50 साल तक वो इंतजार करता है कोर्ट का. उसके बाद भी कहा जाता है कि मुसलमान असुरक्षित है. ये भावना जगानी बंद करिए. और ये सत्य है, ये सत्य है. फिल्म के नाम पर बेच रहे हैं कश्मीरियों को. यहाँ मत आइए प्लीज.
So the way Shwetab interpreted the comparison was nothing out of the ordinary. But apparently Sandeep did not want his comments to be misunderstood, so he talked to Shwetab and asked him to delete the reaction, which Shwetab did. A couple of days later, Prakhar Gupta made a reaction video on Shwetab's reaction video to see what the fuss was all about. After which Sandeep Maheshwari scolded Prakhar and Shwetab, saying that their actions were irresponsible and could lead to Hindu-Muslim riots. He also threatened to file a case against Prakhar if he did not delete his reaction video. After which Prakhar deleted his video, saying that he does not want any controversy and his reaction to Shwetab's reaction was for intellectual discussion only. Which is true. The points Prakhar made in his reaction video were purely intellectual and did not have any religious angle to them. So in conclusion, Sandeep wanted Prakhar's video deleted, which according to him could lead to religious tensions, so Prakhar deleted the video. Things should have ended then and there, but if that would have happened, then I wouldn't be standing in front of you talking about this whole mess. Mess for Sandeep Maheshwari, that is. 5 days after Prakhar deleted his video, Maheshwari out of the blue wrote a very condescending community post in which he basically humiliated Prakhar's Art of Conversation course and called him selfish and arrogant. Now I don't need to explain you that it was actually Maheshwari's comments that were petty and arrogant. There was no need for him to say such horrible things, especially after the issue had ended. Lucky for people like us who try to understand internet culture, Maheshwari made his intentions clear in that very post about why he was attacking Prakhar. Sandeep in his post said, "You must have heard that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. and then went on to criticize Prakhar. It looks like Sandeep wasn't able to handle Prakhar's unfavorable opinion of him, therefore decided to take some sort of twisted revenge by forcing him to delete his video by giving it a communal angle. In hindsight, Sandeep might have also forced Shwetab to take his video down, not to promote religious harmony, but to satisfy his hurt ego. It's not like Shwetab is the national spokesperson of BJP or something. After Sandeep's post, Prakhar, in a very predictable move, made a response video, this time directly calling out Sandeep Maheshwari over his dictatorial behavior. Since then, Sandeep has been trying to get Prakhar's response video deleted by any means possible. He even played the whole nationalism card and accused Prakhar for disrespecting the national flag by wrapping it around during his graduation ceremony in New York and drinking champagne while doing so.
These controversies don't live very long, but it definitely adds a lot of channel subscriptions.
When everything failed, Sandeep sent a legal notice to Prakhar for disrespecting the national flag and defamation. To which, in a very brilliant move, I must say, Prakhar made a 45-minute video enacting a court scene in which he represented himself and countered all the allegations made by Maheshwari on his legal notice. After which, Sandeep Maheshwari is putting pressure on YouTube India to delete Prakhar's video, says Prakhar on his Twitter. This is the story so far. The situation today is that most people support Prakhar Gupta for standing up for himself under high pressure, and people are cringing at Sandeep Maheshwari for getting into a catfight with a 26-year-old on the internet. I'm sure you know that it is considered much more appropriate to punch up than to punch down, especially in comedy. But in the motivation genre, another rule is added to this. It is expected of motivational speakers to emotionally lift their people up than to bog them down. Millions of people look up to Sandeep in their most difficult of times as a symbol of hope. But the way he tried to crush the hard work of a 26-year-old makes people question the sincerity of his advice that he gives in his motivational videos. Sandeep in this case committed double sin, but not only punching down a smaller YouTuber, but he also tried to demotivate a person who was just standing up for himself. It would have been much better if he had promoted Prakhar's book and his course on his platform, thereby boosting the career of a bright young man. Instead, he tried to manipulate public sentiment by portraying Prakhar Gupta as some sort of anti-national, which he is clearly not. Today, the best course of action for Sandeep Maheshwari is to just move on. Don't say a word, just move on. I know this episode will stick with him for the rest of his life. It is the age of the internet after all. But from what I understand, everyone makes mistakes and people are kind and forgiving. Perhaps Sandeep can learn a thing or two from Prakhar Gupta, who has shown high character by handling an adversity in his life with maturity. Thank you everyone for coming over to Millennia Carta. I see a lot of you are here from my last video. That one got kind of popular. So welcome. My name is Ritvik. I make videos on India, international relations and internet culture. While you are here, feel to look at my previous videos and let your thoughts down in the comment section. I read all of them. If you like my content, feel free to stick around and I will see you soon.